I went out yesterday. I guess, I do some field trips and so on. I went and checked out a homeless encampment in Calgary that the police had begun dismantling and cleaning up. Now, this was like at least the third time in this location that the police have had to go down there and dismantle the encampments that's in the area. It was littered with everything from propane canisters to mattresses and syringes. It was a mess, and it has also been a hub of local crime for months. So the sight of tent encampments, and addicts in various states of inebriation and population centers, it's become ubiquitous. Police policies of enablement have failed catastrophically. Let's just face it, they aren't working, and the number of street addicts has expanded exponentially in every city in Canada, throughout North America as far as that goes. Particularly those cities, though, where they provide a safe supply of drugs. So we've got snow is going to start flying out here in a couple of short months, and every Canadian city is going to see a disaster as these addicts are exposed to the elements. I know we prefer not to look at it, and we prefer not to talk about it, but unfortunately, burying our heads in the sand, we're just going to let this looming wave of crime and death build up, and it's past time to start ringing the alarm bells on this. See, I go out and about all the time. I'm on the road, and I look around, and these people are in terrible, terrible condition. They're in danger. They're in rough shape, and they're not going to fare well when it gets to minus 30. So what do you think is going to happen, when people on the streets hit minus 30 weather? Well, they're going to become desperate. That's where the crime aspect will come along. Transit systems, they'll probably become rolling, heated drug consumption centers again. Robberies will rise as addicts can no longer ply their trade of theft and bottle picking due to the deep snow and low temperatures. The fentanyl addiction, it's a crisis like we haven't seen before. That drug is plentiful, it's powerful, and it's incredibly addictive. So the addicts you might have seen on the streets, they're bent over, they're oddly paralyzed while staring at the ground. Well, they've usually taken fentanyl, and the behavior is called nodding. Now, sometimes they just simply fall and pass out with a pipe in their hands. Other times they stand there strangely like that after smoking their chosen poison. And the drug can be laced with a number of substances. Now, the drug consumption in itself, of course, is dangerous enough, and that's killing thousands of them every year. But when it becomes far more dangerous once the Canadian winter sets in, what do you think is going to happen when they nod off and it's minus 30? They're going to lose digits, or they're going to die. Death by exposure. The issue isn't a lack of shelter in general. It's a lack of shelter for addicts. I've been listening to advocates and the usual anti-poverty folks. They feel that if they oppose poverty hard enough, it'll go away. I see them talking on social media, and they're saying, we need more affordable housing. That's the problem. Come on. Yes, we do. But that has nothing to do with these addicts, okay? They need more than a house. They need treatment. They need to be taken off the streets. You can't put them in a house. How low will the rent have to go? How low? If we put the rent down to $100 a month, do you think those homeless addicts from that encampment will say, oh, okay, I'll move into the house and become a responsible citizen and pay my $100 a month in rent? No. If they've got $100 in their pocket, they're going to buy $100 worth of fentanyl. That's the way it works. This problem is much deeper than just needing affordable housing. You can't put them in shelters, unfortunately, because shelters won't allow them to keep consuming drugs. So they can't manage those strung out addicts, because it's unfair as well to the other people stuck in these shelters. So, citizens and governments, we're both going to need to embrace a reality check on this issue, and really fast. If we continue down the road we are on right now, we're going to be seeing horrific number of deaths and witnessing new levels of misery for addicts and those impacted by them. We need to intervene. And there's the big word that people don't like. But every civilized nation has legislation allowing for the removal of a person's liberty if it's evident they're going to harm themselves or others if they're left to their own devices. This can be done in cases where people have serious mental health issues. There's no good reason why such an intervention isn't justified when it comes to street addicts. We have more than enough evidence they're going to harm themselves and others if they're left in the condition they're in right now. Put it bluntly, we wouldn't leave a dog in an alley like that, yet we're leaving people there. You listen to the advocates, we can't infringe upon their liberty or their dignity. There's no dignity left, guys. They've hit rock bottom. But the next thing that's going to come is they're going to die. And yes, when we intervene, the success of treatment, and things like that, it's low if the addict didn't come in willingly. But the survival rate of the street addicts when left alone is even lower. So we really don't have much to lose in intervening. And cities right now should be seeking out and securing heated spaces, somewhere where people can be kept when that need comes, because it's going to come. And, it'll be, yes, a space to warehouse addicts, somewhere to safely take them when we do take them off the trains, when we do take them out of the alleys, when we do take them somewhere, put them on a cot, get some heat on them, get some food into them, and hope we can push them into treatment. But if we keep pretending that this is just a lack of affordable housing, we keep turning our heads and saying this addiction's manageable, if we could just give them enough safe supply, they'll be okay. Guess what? You take fentanyl, even if it's government supplied, when it's minus 30, you're probably going to friggin' die. There's no safe supply of that. Quit listening to these enabling idiots, and let's get prepared, because we're going to have a disaster on our hands if we don't do something with the addicts when it comes to, there's so many more of them out there. And winter's coming, guys. Winter's coming.